Thank you. My name is R.Joshua Collins, the founder of the Facebook group Homeless Advocates for Christ. And recently, Terry Lowe and officers and some others and I had a meeting regarding the homeless. And they stated that basically if the homeless went to jail, they would get some kind of treatment. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. A friend of ours that's homeless has the mental illness, and we all kind of recognized that. Went to jail, and then he was released. He didn't get any treatment, and now he's back in jail again because he went to an area where he was basically told not to go. So I'm just asking that maybe we could get another meeting with Terry Lowe and the officers, because is there real help, or is it just lies what they're saying? And what I see here is a lie. And I'd like to hopefully make something happen here where we can really get help to these people. I've been doing a lot of research regarding police, politicians, and professors that are talking about issues with the mentally ill and the homeless. And one of the things that the police said was that they don't have enough mental health centers, and the cost is going to the jails to take care of the mentally ill instead of mental health centers. And it's like a revolving door. And that's kind of what happened with this guy that I'm talking about. And the politician, basically, he was saying that there should be treatment before tragedy. A lot of times we're waiting for the tragedy to happen instead of working on a treatment before. And the professor was basically saying if someone has a lack of a capacity to judge for themselves, right? They don't even know they have a problem, and that it's in the best interest of that person, those two things, that we should get that person treatment. It's basically involuntary treatment. And then versus what we're doing now, which is that this person they're waiting to see if this person is a danger to themselves or to society. Okay, and that's kind of what the system that the police are working on now. But what happens is this situation what we have with the criminalization of mentally ill people and a revolving door thing where they just go to jail, they come out of jail, and they go back to jail, and nothing happens. There's no kind of treatment or help for them. So I'm just requesting that we maybe get another meeting with Terry Lowe and discuss all this stuff. I know there's some officers out there that are still doing good things and helping people, and that's great. But then there's other officers that are like, well, that's not my job. Like Officer Hampton and others like that I've tried to talk to. There's some that don't have that kind of above and beyond mentality, like the officers that we saw earlier today. And hopefully we can instill that kind of mentality of the above and beyond into all the officers and kind of go outside of our job description, because this society, we have to go above and beyond. If we really want to become a city of kindness and to do the right thing, sometimes we have to do that. So if anyone would like to help out there, my Facebook group, Homeless Advocates for Christ, I'd like to hear from you, and hopefully we can fulfill Proverbs 31:8 and 9, which says to defend the cause of the poor and the needy, and also to speak up for those that can't speak up for themselves. So obviously the mentally ill, a lot of times they can't do that, and I'd love to hear anything you guys have to say, or if we could get that meeting going again with Terry Lowe, because I believe he would be open to another meeting from what I understand. So could we make that happen?
Terry Lowe is sitting in the back. He is always open to meet with people with citizens of Anaheim. As you know, this is a complicated,
Yes.
issue, and I would suggest that if you mentioned that they were lying to you, I would suggest that most likely there are so many different factors in this situation that I seriously doubt if it was was not a lie. I would not think it's a lie. Just things don't work out the way that we planned, or things like that. A lie means there's intent to deceive. I know that's not the case.
Yeah, maybe some of them aren't intending. I don't know the issue. All I know is they said one thing and something else happened.
Yes.
And so I like to see that their word would be true.
And that can happen, as you know, in this world.
Sure.
Deal with the homeless issue where so many things are fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Lowe is sitting in the back, and I know he will talk to me.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. It's nice to hear about these officers. We need a lot more like them. But first of all, I want to say that we actually need an emergency safe zone for the homeless. While we wait for the shelters. We need a safe zone for the elderly women kids and a separate one for the men. Now, the Armory in Fullerton, I believe, is closing soon. The homeless citizens of our city, not only have they lost everything, but now they're kind of afraid of some officers. I'm not there all the time. I know there's good officers out there, but there's always some few bad apples. But anyways, the whole thing with the police is they're there to protect and serve. And it's sad to think that the homeless now feel afraid, and they have to be afraid of the criminals. And that's what they emergency shelters right now. If we have a dog park, we could have those safe zones, because not only they're going to corners where there's criminals out there, and the officers need to see the difference between the criminal and a homeless person, because they're veterans, they're people, they're elderly people. And yeah, there's some drug addicts and alcoholics out there, but they're not criminals. Even though they need help, especially the mentally ill. And there have been so many killings, especially just yesterday in LA. There's a big protest right now. Before the incident, we need to actually expedite the help that they need, especially those homeless women out there that, for some reason there's no place for them, but I talk to them, they're so afraid now. And when we put those in place, at least we can separate them from the criminals. Because we're not going to put criminals with them, but we're going to monitor them in those safe zones. Okay? And that's where they can't get their stuff taken away from them. Because when they're out there, sometimes they need to use the restroom and they have to leave their stuff there. And some of them, they carry more than they should. But it's just, I'm glad that Terry's here so we can talk to him, because, we got so much to say and so many solutions, good solutions out there with San Antonio and Utah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And, thank you for advocating for the homeless, and appreciate your acknowledgement of the work of Officer Nahia and Alvarez. That is, I suggest that is actually more the norm of our police department. And that the job is a difficult one, and not all people are homeless. Of course, there's no crime in being homeless, but if people are committing crimes, then the officer's job is to enforce the law. I know you're not disagreeing with that.
No, I mean, but there's got to be a difference where they can tell, and sometimes it's so hard to tell because they're mixed with the wrong crowds, and they get, sometimes abused by those people that. So I'm hoping that.
I can tell you that they're working on it, and they're making great progress. And the whole way that their police department is dealing with the whole situation. Also, I go on, but the way, also the way they deal with the prostitution situation, in a very humane way.
We don't want to see an incident like LA.
Right.
And everybody's scared about that because, it can happen anywhere. And it's just, sometimes the police gets mistaken.
Okay. Anyway,
Thank you,
appreciate
Darren.
it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, first of all, that tax being proposed by Chris Murray has one purpose, and that is to tie the hands of future councils from putting a emission tax on Disneyland. And hopefully in the near future we will have a fair council that is not controlled by Disneyland. I am Charlie, spokesperson for Anaheim Home. There are some people in Anaheim that do not know the difference between humans and animals. Unfortunately, some of those people who do not know the difference between between humans and animals are currently Anaheim City Council members. Over a year ago, through the actions of the Disney whore, Chris Murray, Anaheim became the only city in Orange County to criminalize the homeless by making laws against homeless people sleeping in public and by having their shopping cart of possessions, sleeping bags to keep warm at night, subject to confiscation by the Anaheim police. The Anaheim City Council is stopping the homeless from being able to sleep at night at secluded areas of Anaheim Palma Park and other Anaheim parks, where the homeless causes few problems for normal Anaheim residents.
Please, guys.
However, some Anaheim residents, like Chris Murray and Lucille Crane, they do not know the difference between humans and animals. Murray and Crane, in order to make the homeless of Anaheim suffer more than they are already, have converted the few sleeping areas that the homeless now have into dog parks. On Saturday, March the 7th, Murray and Crane will be opening a new La Palma dog park, where the homeless of Anaheim will have the choice to sleep with dog poop or not at all. To Murray and Crane, and many abnormal residents of Anaheim, animals are more important than humans. Some of these abnormal people are raising money for an animal statue, while the homeless of Anaheim are suffering from the cold and rain at night. There is one thing that is well known in societies. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. It is a certainty that some of those who bring their animals to the new La Palma dog park will have their children or grandchildren someday be homeless and will be looking for a place to sleep. And the Disney puppet, Lucille Crane, not having any children, has nothing to worry about. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker, R.Joshua.
Thank you. Mayor T, I just had, I guess in the council also, I just had 3 issues to talk about, just trying to make it a little simple for you. The homeless, one. The teens, I know that I read an article in the Anaheim Bulletin when you were stating that you're interested in getting teens free from the drugs, the gangs, and the teen pregnancy. And also the third issue is I'm hoping to get smoking outlawed at the libraries and the parks. You know, a lot of people are out there smoking weed and smoking other things, and it really affects the the atmosphere there. You can't really, for me personally, non-smoker, you know, I can't really go in an area like that, and it kind of affects a lot of people that don't smoke. So those are the 3 issues. But first, just going off with the homeless. Right now, some of the homeless are getting their belongings taken from them, and they're not taking the property. The police, they'll just go and they'll take it. They think, for instance, I have this all on video, because a lot of times I'll film the police, and the police often sometimes will take the property without even taking it. Now they used to put tags on it, you know, and give them 3-hour warning, but they're not always doing that. They do it sometimes, not always. So I'm going to ask, I guess, if you guys can make it permanent that they do that every time. They put a notice on there, give them a 3-hour warning, because there was a guy in the library with a 4-year-old child, and their belongings were outside the library, and the cops came and assumed this guy was a criminal and were about to take his stuff, but I caught him. I filmed it. You know, and I said, hey, what are you guys doing? And they decided not to take it then. And they checked the guy out. He wasn't a criminal or anything like that. So, but they almost lost everything, you know, that they had out there with them. So, just asking maybe you could, because they're already doing it currently. A lot of times they'll put a tag on, 3-hour warning. But I'm asking that they make it every time. You know, that way that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Because, I mean, it's hard enough for people down their luck like that to get everything taken from them when they're in the library or doing whatever. So, and the other issue with the teens, in my heart, is they really need to be taught the Word of God. You know, that's a lot of what the foundation is needed for the kids. You know, they need to hear God's truth. I only got 1 minute left, unfortunately, but you know, like the Bible tells us, sexual sin leads to hell, homosexuality leads to hell. 1 Corinthians 6:9-11. Don't do these things. God warns us all through the Bible. Be sober. You know, don't use bad language. Don't lie. there's all these commands and a good foundation for kids. So I just encourage you to get the Word of God, into the schools. We need to do that. And if you can help me with doing any of these types of things, I'd like to hear what you would have to say. And those that are listening, if you can help, my email is servingjesus99212@yahoo.com. I'm also on Facebook. Homeless Advocates for Christ is my Facebook group. And hopefully I'll hear from somebody that might want to help. But I do pass out tracts and things currently, try to teach youth the Word of God and encourage them, because I know this is a very sexualized, secular society that we're living in, and kids need that foundation of God. So I wanted to share that.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Next speaker, Junior Myra and Lillian.
Thank you, Mayor. CIT, Crisis Intervention Training for the Police. San Antonio has implemented this, and they have found that $9 billion per year is spent locking up the mentally ill, which some are veterans and homeless. They're patients, not prisoners. The police spend more overtime waiting in emergency rooms, which costs the city tax dollars. Now, having a crisis treatment center would allow the police to go back to work by just bringing them to a mental patient center. San Antonio found the diversion costing $350 versus $2,295 in jail time and overtime and police resources. Now, I could go on and on, but there's a good documentary called Overcriminalized by New Brave Film, and you could check that out. They have more information about all this. The other thing is that we noticed that police are now doing maintenance work, cleaning up after the things that we normally give the homeless, like sleeping bags or blankets. It could be a good thing if the police could pass around tags with numbers, so the homeless, when they have to go to use the restroom and leave their belongings there, they could tag their belongings, so if the police come, they know who they belong to, and they could be able to claim those their things, so they won't lose them. But we're going backwards in this, and I don't blame you. I blame some of the community because they're always, sending you emails or complaining about the homeless, and yet they don't want shelters in the city. Well, if the shelters do give them a home, so that way they won't be in their front yards or pissing all over the place. But this is the community has to be aware that the shelters do help a lot, and it's been found in Utah, it's been found in San Antonio, and now if every city would implement the same thing, we would be,
Mr. Noble, I'm sorry, your time is up.
we would be actually, saving a lot of tax money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
It is well known.
Go back into the library.
Why?
Because you need to go back in there. Come on. Go on. Go on. Go back into the library. Police are bagging up the homeless people's stuff, including a little child's blanket, as you saw there.
If I give it back to you guys,
Hey, Jesse. That stuff for sure. That was in the trees. Correct.
How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Not much. I thought they were supposed to take stuff before they take it.
Yeah, but if I'm out here and I see it and they abandon it and he runs away from it to get away from us, what are we supposed to do?
Well, he didn't
Yeah,
abandon
he did.
it.
No, yeah, he did.
As far as I know.
Yeah, you weren't.
He was in the library. He was in the library.
No, you don't know the whole story. There's more here. So he saw us over there. I saw him over there. He'd been over there since several hours, and then he saw us coming over here and he took off running. So you don't know all the facts, unfortunately. You're only getting one side, RJ.
Yeah, I don't know everything.
Yeah, you're only getting one side. So we're not going to store it. We're not going to take it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because he came up to us.
Yeah, I was wondering because he doesn't even afraid if he came out to you, you know.
But there's more to it. It's not. You're only getting one side. There's another side.
Yeah, I see you guys pull up. You guys pull up, and now, yeah, I know, yeah, I was over. Yeah.
We were talking about you yesterday. We're like, where's Jesse? And then we said, hey, Jesse actually opened the door for us. We're gonna go after Coke.
They filled that truck with some lady's stuff that she was selling some stuff too. But I don't know. At least they're not taking his stuff. Anyways, feel free to join my Facebook group, Homeless Advocates for Christ, and pray justice is done out here. True justice. Thanks so much. May God bless. Bye. Hey, can I talk to you real quick? I have a quick question. That guy that he almost lost all his stuff over here, but he didn't commit any crime, right?
It had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
It had to do with his property and the fact that he was over in the park like 2 hours earlier, and then he was hiding in the bushes over here. That somebody had seen him, so we thought the property was abandoned, and then he came out and said it was his, and thus we got it back. So.
Well, the thing is, it's because I saw you guys about to take it, so I told him that you were about to take it, and then he came out. But the thing is, aren't you supposed to tag it? Like give him 3 hours before you take stuff? I mean, that's what
Well,
I thought.
that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Is he was seen in here
Yeah.
at least 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long the property had been here.
Yeah.
But
it's,
that was somebody else dealing with it. So
I understand.
It's abandoned. It's abandoned. I mean, there was bike frames in the trees that we
Yeah.
just shook out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, like if you see stuff, aren't you supposed to tag it? Even if you think it might be, but usually they tag stuff.
The was it mini code? Yes. Does not require us to tag it.
You don't?
We can just take it if it's abandoned. We have adopted a thing as a city to give people a little more leeway and leniency
Yeah.
to say, hey, we're going to give you 3 hours to
Yeah.
move it.
That's good.
So technically speaking, we don't. So when nobody's around and it's obvious we're standing out here,
Sure.
we can't figure out whose it is. You know, it just makes it difficult. When you're by the library and blocking the gate and everything else, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. So.
Yeah, I just hope you guys would take stuff, hopefully, because he had a little kid, and his little kid stuff was in there, and
he got his stuff back.
Well, only because I saw it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it would all been gone. So, yeah. Well, hopefully, you guys. I pray for you guys. You know.
Slowly but surely, you know.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
All right. Thanks. Take care. Well, you see the issue there is they assume something is abandoned and they take it. You know, that's not how you should deal with the homeless situation. That's horrible to me. I mean, if someone's stuff is sitting out there, they should tag it. Give them 3 hours notice before they take stuff. That just seems, how would a city of kindness, what Anaheim is supposed to be known as a city of kindness, that's what they should be doing. But instead, they run up on people's stuff and they nearly took all this guy's stuff. This whole trailer full of homeless guy's stuff. Little kid stuff too was in there. They got it all bagged up right here. He almost lost all that stuff, little kids' toys and everything. So please pray for the homeless situation out here and that the police would do right and that God would help us to bring an end to this robbing of the homeless, which happens, almost happened just now. By the grace of God, I was able to see what happened, see that happen, and we were able to catch the police before they took off with everything. So if you like, please join my Facebook group, Homeless Advocates for Christ, and may God bless. Bye. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind the stone, you live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Laid behind the stone, you live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. You took the fall and thought of me above all. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind the stone,
You live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Laid behind the stone, you live to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. You took the fall and thought of me above